All right, y'all. AM/FM, Radio Free Go-Go.
Good morning, DC. There's a new bug going around the district. And if you're experiencing this Saturday morning fever, then, well, the best solution might just be this newest episode of the Capitol Hoop Caucus. I'm Wardell McCabe, and I'm joined, as always, by my two co-hosts. First is a man whose favorite brain game is Sudoku. It's Isaac Harris, and the man on his left can't wait to get back to his crosswords. It is Troy Halliburton. Gentlemen, were those your preferred methods of mental gains?
I went on a nice little Wordle run during the pandemic. I'm not even going to lie.
Absolutely not. I got in the radio to stay away from numbers. Absolutely not. No.
That's a very fair shout. You know, I should have pegged that. That is absolutely on me.
Oh, God,
but look, this show is not about puzzles and games. Troy, what is the purpose of the Capitol Hoop Caucus?
Well, the Capitol Hoop Caucus is out here trying to be the preeminent basketball show, talking hoops in the DMV from prep to pro, men and women. If they're throwing up that round ball, we're talking about it.
That's absolutely right, and we are doing so every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN 630 or the ESPN 630 app. But if you're not able to catch us live on the radio, then do not worry, because you can always catch us on the podcast feed wherever it is that you get your podcast, and also on YouTube. So if everyone wants to just wave to the camera right now, you can go see our beautiful smiling faces. And if you also didn't know, it has now been one full week of our new rollout of programming schedule, which is that every Monday we will have a college-focused show that is actually hosted by our very own Isaac Harris. And then every Wednesday, we'll have a midweek Wizards check-in show. And those two shows are exclusive to the podcast feed. And this one, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, will remain exactly the same on the radio airways as well. Are you guys ready to get this week's show started?
Born ready like Lance Stevenson.
All right, perfect, because since the last time we checked in with y'all, which was that midweek Wizards check-in, the Wizards took another loss. Not the most surprising thing in the world, but this time to the Spurs, and there were actually some positives. So not only will we break down the game itself, we'll also discuss how Bilal, Coulibaly, and Alex Sarr looked fresh off the injury report, and Bub Carrington himself had a pretty solid game. So we'll go over whether the fans were too quick to write him off in the early stretch of the season, now that he's had 4 pretty decent performances in a row. And then from there, we'll launch the full court press for a blind rookie power rankings, after which our hosts will then select their initial all-stars from both conferences. And as always, we'll close out the show with trivia time from the line. But first, we have to get the show rolling with the Beltway Beat. And before we actually talk about this most Wizards recent game, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest, a second-time guest here, a Nova legend, Wizards fanatic, and as I said, a 2-time guest of the show, of the legendary Big Brother. It is Big Pooh. Pooh, thank you so much. Little brother. Oh, my goodness. I tripped right over that. Oh, my goodness. I had a great role there, too. Of the legendary little brother, it is Big Pooh. Pooh, thank you so much for joining the show.
Man, thank you for having me. Thank you. We are Big Brother now, you know.
Hey, look, I love that.
Now we Big Brother, or we Big Unc.
Oh, man.
Big Ung stats. I love that. Look, I honestly do feel like, you know what I'm saying, like y'all have definitely reached that Big Brother status, man. Like, you know what I'm saying, if you all consider yourself the little brother to the De La Souls and the Tribe Called Quest, you know what I'm saying. But the thing is, who would be the little brother to y'all if you had to pick out some guys in the game?
I think the people who came after us, the generation, I'll say, that came after us, the Coles, the Kendricks, the Drakes, the Wale.
I'm about to say, shout out DMV legend Wale, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
new album out right now.
Yeah.
The Big Sean's, like, I mean, you name it, the Pac Divs, the Dom Kennedys, just a bunch of artists, DNA, just like those that came before us. DNA run through our veins, our DNA run through theirs in some shape, form, or fashion.
Man, I love it. That's what we call classic hip hop right there, man.
It absolutely is. But let's get the show back to basketball right now because I said the Wizards, they took another loss, that being a 94-119 loss against San Antonio on Thursday. Isaac, what did you see in this loss?
Unfortunately, the same things we keep saying. Although the bright spot is Alex Sarr looks good coming back, but I keep seeing the same things that falling apart toward the end after showing some highlights of like, hey, we could be this putting a complete team together and putting a complete win. We're just not there yet.
Well, you mentioned Alex Sarr. He had a pretty awesome halftime closing dunk to end that first half. That was pretty nice. A little bit of a buzzer beater there. But Troy, with Sarr coming back from injury, so was Bilal. What did you see from them on the floor that you think is the biggest takeaway from the recent stretch of injury for them?
Yeah, well, Alex Sarr, I definitely see a guy who is like taking that sophomore leap with his game. And I think that it was very encouraging, the fact that, he missed that 2-week stretch, and then he came back, and it was like a seamless transition. It was like almost like he was never out. And then for Bilal Coulibaly, man, it's really becoming very concerning about his regression on the offensive end for this season. And so, for a guy, he missed the same amount of time as Alex Sarr. And he came back and he looks almost exactly like he did before his injury, where he is not able to score the basketball. And so, I think for the front office, they have to start looking at, Bilal Coulibaly, who's, going to be heading into his 4th year and rookie contract extensions. I think it's going to be a very tricky negotiation between the front office and Bilal Coulibaly.
And Pooh, what did you think of Bilal's efforts in this first game back for him?
I agree with Troy in that he definitely looked like the same player he was offensively, like he's been offensively. I don't know if part of that is every offseason since he's been in the league, he's been having a nurse injury, or is he just going to be super limited on the offensive end of the table? So, it's one of the things with Bilal. The good thing on your side is he's still only 20, I believe. So he still has a lot of growing to do, but it's definitely when you look at the offensive uptick of a Keyshawn George, now back again of a Bub Carrington, and of course of an Alex Sarr, you definitely wonder, is it going to ever turn or ever click for him?
Yeah, shout out to a DMV pizza chain we have here called And Pizza. I'm going to start calling Bilal Coulibaly Andy, because there's no 3 Andy. He's just Andy. Like he does not have the 3-point game. And I think the biggest thing is the fact that I really feel like he's lost his confidence in his jump shot. It's like not only is he coming out here, he's passing up on way too many open shots. And honestly, it's really affecting the Wizards offense, because defenders are really giving him the Tony Allen Memphis treatment, where they're playing so far off of him that it clogs up the floor spacing for the rest of the team. And so I honestly feel like the Wizards should really be trying to do a much better job of trying to activate his offensive game and accentuate his strengths on the floor, putting him in the dunker spot, allowing him to, be the screener on some of these plays, and so he could slip to the basket and use his athleticism to try to get activated offensively. Because just kind of putting him out there on the perimeter and asking him to catch and shoot, it's really making him look uncomfortable on the basketball court.
Now, Isaac, what would be ways that you would try to implement Sarr or Bilal on the offensive end?
Literally, like Troy said, just try to get him in the dunker spot and try to activate where he needs to go, where he's best comfortable. You have him as a 3-and-D wing. Try to make him, take the high percentage shots first to try to build it back up. He's coming back from injury. That he's also been struggling offensively. Just put him in better situations to where he can gradually grow back to where you want him to be offensively. But that's just my 2 cents.
All right, well, let's move on from a player who seems to have lost the confidence to another player who's seemingly growing that confidence back that he had in his rookie year. That being Bub Carrington, he dropped 15 points in this game. Troy, what did you think of Bub's performance?
Man, I really with Bub Carrington, if I shout out to Dean Oliver, who used to actually work in the front office for the Wizards doing analytics, but he posted something from ESPN Analytics, and some of Bub Carrington's stats on there are very interesting. He's played in 107 total NBA games, and only 19 of them he's had a net positive of his point rating for the ESPN Analytics. That's not a very good percentage. But what is very encouraging is the fact that 3 of those games have come in the last 4 games that he's played. So, we're talking about a guy who, he really has struggled over the majority of his NBA career of just coming out and having a positive impact on the game. But if you look at, his last 2 weeks of basketball, I think that that's a very encouraging sign of the fact that, like I said, like 3 of his best games, 3 of his positive net rating games have come in the last 2 weeks. So, it's definitely great for the trajectory and the trend of where I see his games going. And so, I think that the Wizards fans really need to have a lot of patience with Bub Carrington and, kind of allow this thing to play out because he is still very young. And, there are some tools there with him.
Yeah, I think that's one of the benefits with him being on a roster that's constructed like this, right? Is, he wasn't looking particularly great through the first 20 games of this season, but with a team that isn't trying to win, their goal is to try to develop. It meant that he was getting a lot of minutes to try to develop, to try to figure it out. And it really has felt like over the last 2 weeks, it's clicked for him in a way that it really hadn't in the past. But Pooh, let me ask you this. What do you think of how the fan base in general was viewing Bub at the start of the season?
It was disappointing because when you're talking about a 19-year-old player that only spent 1 year in school, combo guard, got to play the way he played, coming out of college last year, then being asked to become a floor general when he's not a floor general, naturally, there was going to be some struggle. And as we're seeing in the past 2 weeks, we're getting aggressive Bub Carrington. I'm going to look to score, and then I'll look to set up. And that's how he needs to play. Like every point guard isn't, I'm going to come out and I'm going to get 10 assists before I think about scoring. He needs to think about scoring to open up the assist. And I think people make too much of him not getting to the rim. Yes, he needs to work on that, and that's going to come with added strength and, just working on getting shots around the basket, but in traffic. But I think for Bub, the key for him is not necessarily getting to the rim, but getting to his mid game. That's his layup right now is his midi. And when he gets to the midi and then works back out to his improved 3-point shot, it opens up so much of the floor for him. And even just getting to the midi is enough of breaking the defense down to make them have to react, to open up them other pockets, whether that's somebody rolling to the rim, Bilal, or somebody spraying out to the 3 in Keyshawn or Champagny or Trey Johnson. So I was disappointed in the conversation surrounding Bub. Like we all didn't know, they're still tanking, they're still developing. But I'm happy for Bub that he's finally starting to look like the player we saw last year, and he's literally looking like he's playing the game versus thinking the game while he's trying to play it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. I think that a lot of the conversation around Bub Carrington on Wizards Twitter has to do with the fact that he was traded for Deni Avdija, and so. It's almost like the Derek Queen trade for the Pelicans. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have this thing attached to you, like Bub Carrington, no matter what he does throughout his NBA career, like he's gonna have to wear that jacket of I was traded for Deni Avdija. And so, that may be unfair, because if you start to look at and compare, Bub Carrington, his second-year data to looking up to Deni Avdija's second-year data, then you would be like, oh, man, like there's still, hope and a chance for him to, continue to develop. But I think the biggest thing, like I said, like if he wasn't traded for Danny Avdija, then I feel like his career will be able to stand alone, and we would judge it completely differently. But because, like I said, he's always going to be attached to the Wizards giving up Danny Avdija, and we're going to go through some All-Star voting later. And right now, like Danny Avdija probably is an All-Star starter, and so that looks bad from the Wizards front office standpoint, but it's nothing to be done about that now. The only thing that Wizards have to focus on is making sure that they continue to develop Bub. And Pooh, like you said, like I love the fact that like he's been more decisive and getting to his mid range. And so a lot of people keep talking about him having to get to the rim, but I really think he just needs to work on making sure his handle is tight and that whatever he does, he's just decisive with it. Like, just come out, move the basketball, pull up for a jumper, or try to set up a teammate. Like, I feel like early on in the season, like he was having a lot of struggles, a lot of turnovers because he just didn't know what to do with the basketball, or he was just coming off a screen and not really making a decisive play. And so, yeah, I think that when he just kind of puts his head down, keeps his dribble tight, and gets to something, gets to a pull-up, gets to a floater, like I feel like that is where his game really flows best.
Well, I also think, too, when he starts to lean into his strengths, it will then allow him to grow even further as that playmaker, right? I know, Pooh, you were saying they're trying to fit him in this role as being the floor general for this team, and it really hasn't been working for him, right? Where they've been trying to get him to attack the rim, they've been trying to get him to find these spaces, but even in spite of that, even like we're saying he wasn't particularly growing or wasn't really successful in that, but he still has the highest assist percentage of any player on the team. He also has the most assists of his entire draft class this season. So he wasn't even playing to his strengths, and he was a pretty good playmaker. Now you have to imagine when he starts to get in his groove, when he actually is looking for the shots that he can hit, and they actually start to fall, that's when, Pooh, as he said, those lanes are going to start to open up for him more, and he's going to actually convert a little bit more assists, and the turnovers aren't going to be coming as frequently for him. And so to see him actually have this stretch of games where it feels like it's actually coming together for him a little bit better has been very promising to see. But Troy, I have to ask, we're saying that the fans were a little quick to jump off the train for him. How do you think that fans should be approaching any of these young players in the next coming months?
Well, I mean, #SoWizards. We have to be cautiously optimistic for all of these young players because, I really feel like the Wizards are in a mode where, they aren't getting these blue chip prospects where, like players are coming in with all around well-rounded games and they're just going to be proficient at so many different things. Like the Wizards are really going to have to, as a front office, as a team, going to have to roll their sleeves up and put in the work to try to develop these guys. And so, like, when you look at guys who have, like, for the Wizards, young guys, like, who have very clear weaknesses and very clear strengths. And so the object is to, try to accentuate what they do well, but also, like, raise the floor for the weaknesses. So that means Bilal Coulibaly for his jump shot, Bub Carrington helping him, try to finish around the rim, Keyshawn George helping him stop fouling. Like, they have to really, work on the weaknesses for these young players. And, that is, to me, just as important. Though the development and growth of the young players is way more important than what the win-loss record is at this point.
All right, and Pooh, let me just ask you this final one. Where is your optimism at right now for this young core?
My optimism is high. I love this young core. I think it's a lot of pieces and a lot of tools here, and you're starting to see. I think the competition starts to separate who's who and what's what. And as we've seen this year, with Alex Sarr taking the big leap, just unfortunately he came into the season a little nicked up, and he's been nicked up. And then Keyshawn George, of course, he's almost like if Alex Sarr is 1A for the young guns, Keyshawn George is 1B now. And I'm very highly optimistic, and I think whenever they get that player, be it a young player or a veteran, whenever they get that player, the competition that's being bred, the development that's being had with this young group, I think it's going to position them to be great. Either they're going to be great co-stars or they're going to be great supporting cast for when they do get that person that's going to have all of the gravity. And I think that's the thing that fans have to understand. We do not have that one person that is the gravity. We don't have the grab that pulls people to the left, to the right, to one side of the court, to the other. We don't have that player yet. And when you don't have that player, you can, on defense can play you a whole different way versus when you have that gravitational pull of a player. So, yeah, I'm like I said, I'm high. I'm high on these guys. I'm still high on them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you just said, Pooh, because like the Wizards, they have, like, if we're gonna be honest, like they don't have that star player who's going to pull the gravity of the court and make everybody else's job easier. And like we have a lot of role players, but we need these players to be stars in their roles. But like the thing is, like when we ever do get that blue chip player to come in here, then everybody's role is going to look different. Can you like just imagine like a guy like Bilal Coulibaly if he was playing with a guy like Shea? Like if you played with a guy who had that much gravity, like he probably would get 120 dunks a year, like just off of cutting off a Shea. And so, I think that once the Wizards are able to, with fingers crossed, get that star player to come in, whether that be through free agency or trade or getting lucky in the draft. I think that everybody's role will look different than what it looks like right now.
Well, as Damo said on our midweek show, the goal for all of us right now is to have patience. And speaking of patience, we hope that you are patient with us this very first commercial break. When we get back, we will launch this week's Full Court Press with Big Pooh of Little Brother. As I amend that again, this is the Capital Hoop Caucus on ESPN 630 and the ESPN 630 app. Welcome back into the Capital Hoop Caucus on ESPN 630 and the ESPN 630 app. I'm Wardell McCabe, and I'm joined as always by Troy Halliburton and Isaac Harris. And we are still joined right now by the legendary Big Pooh of Little Brother. And it's time for us to launch this week's Full Court Press, and we're going to be doing something pretty special for you all here. We're going to be blind power ranking some of the best NBA rookies of this class. So here's what's going to happen. Here's how this is all going to break down. I will name some of the rookies, and each of our hosts will take turns placing them on one collective power ranking. There will be swaps involved. There will be skips involved, all in the name of building one collective Capital Hoop Caucus rookie power ranking. Are you all ready to begin?
Definitely.
All right. Well, let's begin blind power ranking the NBA rookies. Pooh, I'll start first with you. The first player to put on the power ranking, Trey Johnson.
I'll put him at 9.
At 9? Any reason why?
I put him at 9 because I don't think we have a large enough sample size with Trey yet, but you can see, I think Troy was talking about it online with somebody. He's like, right now he's shaping up to be a less athletic Norman Powell, which is not a bad thing. But I think we need to see a little bit more, but you definitely see something there. So I'll put him at 9.
All right. Now let's move on to Troy for your player, Jeremiah Fears. Where do you put him on the power ranking?
Ooh, Fears. I'm gonna put Fears at 4. I'm gonna have Fears ranked 4. I think that, man, what he's done so far, showing his on-ball juice, like this is a guy who knows how to get to his spots on the basketball court right now. And in today's NBA, with so much space out there for a guy who can manipulate the pick and roll the way that he can, like I would be very encouraged if I were the New Orleans Pelicans about having their point guard of the future.
All right, Fears at 4. Isaac, we'll move on to you. Your player is Cooper Flagg.
Can I put Cooper at 5?
At 5?
I'll give him a 5.
All right, putting Cooper Flagg at 5.
The only reason why I say 5 is because, well, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt as the number 1 pick. Although, yes, has he been an exciting or this impact guy? No, but I have a good feeling that he's shown more potential as of right now to where, like, I think the second half of the year is going to be a big jump for him.
All right, we're off to a spicy start after the first round. We've got Jeremiah Fears at 4, Cooper Flagg at 5, and Trey Johnson at 9. Pooh, the next player for you, Derek Queen.
And that Cooper Flagg at 5 is very spicy.
It's fine.
Got to.
I'm going to put Derek Queen. For me, Derek Queen would be number 2. Derek Queen is the player who most of us thought he was going to be. He unfortunately has the attachment of being traded for an unprotected pick. And of course his team is not good. So, but all the tools are there. He can pass, he can dribble, he can score. And I mean, if he wasn't in New Orleans and he wasn't on the New Orleans Pelicans, I think people will be talking about Derek Queen a lot more.
All right, now, Troy, where do you place Ryan Kalkbrenner?
I'll put him at 10.
At 10? Well, there's only 9
9
spots.
spots.
So
Skip. Well, then he's getting skipped. Then I'm sorry. He does not make the cut. Look.
Let's move on to the next player then, Con Knipple for Troy.
Let's get super spicy. I'm gonna go Con Knipple as the number 1 rookie right now. Yeah, look, he's leading all rookies in scores. The biggest thing for me is the fact that he is a absolute sniper when it comes to shooting the basketball. He's made 89 threes this season, and that ranks him 3rd in the entire NBA, only behind Donovan Mitchell and Steph Curry. And so for a guy who's come in like he's everything that he was built up to be coming out of Duke and way more. And so like for right now, I think that he's the leading man on the Charlotte Hornets right now. I know LaMelo Ball fans probably do not want to hear that, but like this is it's the Con Knipple show. And, I think that he's done it on the court so far, and I would have him ranked number 1.
All right, now, Isaac, you've got spots 3, 6, 7, and 8 left. Where are you going to put VJ Edgecombe?
I'm going to give him 3 I'm going to give him 3 just because of the reason and how he's been impacting and figuring out what his role is for the 76ers team, to the point to where they're reevaluating and on the Twitter threads and everything, like, hey, should we try to trade Jared McCain to make space to give VJ more room to grow with Tyrese Maxey? If a rookie's doing so much positive impact as a player like that, he deserves at least the top 3 spot.
All right. VJ Edgecombe at number 3. So after 2 rounds, we currently have it as Con Knipple at 1, Derek Queen at 2, VJ Edgecombe at 3, Jeremiah Fears at 4, Cooper Flagg at 5, and 6, 7, 8 are open with Trey Johnson at 9. Pooh, back to you. Where do you place Ryan Nembhard?
Oh man, he's been good. Do I want him on this list though? Can I bump out Trey and put him at 9?
Okay, you can absolutely do that.
Man, this is getting spicy. Man.
Oh, wow. Ooh, a bold move to make. So Ryan Nembhard going at 9.
Yeah, we have more data, with Ryan Nembhard than we have of Trey Johnson because of Trey Johnson's injury. But Ryan Nembhard, small, but he plays just like his brother, and I think he has that chip on his shoulder of going undrafted, that to show and prove that he's more than worthy of belonging in the NBA, and not just belonging in the NBA, but actually having a role for him in the NBA. So he's definitely done put his stamp on the season thus far, this young season thus far.
All right, now moving on to Troy, where would you put Cedric Coward?
Ooh, that was my draft sleeper. I'm gonna put Cedric Coward at 5 for me.
Do you want to swap Flagg from 5?
100%. I would bump Flagg up. Yes, for 100%.
Well, where are you gonna put Flagg? Can't go up further. You either got to bump someone, or you got to swap someone up.
Swap someone up?
Yeah. Do you want to swap Flagg? Where do you want to place him at?
Well, I mean, for me, I would put Flagg at 2.
Flag at 2.
Yeah.
All right. So Flag going at 2. That means Derek Queen drops down to number 3. Edgecombe at 4. Fears at 5.
That sounds like look, this list is shaping up.
It is, definitely is. But that means you've also exhausted both your skip and your swap.
Okay.
Where are you going to put Cedric Coward? You have spots 7 and 8 left.
All right, so Cedric Coward. I mean, I do love everything about his game right now, but I think that his role is just more limited than some of these other guys. So I'm going to put him at 7.
All right, putting Cedric Coward at 7. Isaac, you're up next. Where are you going to put Dylan Harper? Do you want him at that 7th spot?
God, this is.
Let's swap VJ for Dylan Harper.
All right, so VJ coming off the list?
For Dylan Harper, yeah.
Okay, so
I hate to
Dylan
say
Harper is going to bump VJ Edgecombe from number 4 out of the running, and Dylan Harper is now going to be placed at number 4. So the ranking as currently constructed is Con Knipple at 1, Cooper Flag at 2, Derek Queen at 3, Dylan Harper at 4, Jeremiah Fears at 5, Cooper Flag, Cedric Coward. Then we have Ryan Nemhard and VJ Edgecombe at, I guess, 9. Do you want him at 9 or do you want him off the list completely?
I'll take VJ at 9, actually.
All right,
I
VJ
still like
at
VJ
9. So at least he's still in the party. So that's nice.
This rookie class is stacked. Man.
It is. It's actually off to a really great start right now.
Like Dylan, literally, he might have been the final piece for what this Wemby era Spurs needed. I mean, as far as guards, like they got Stephen Castle and him, and he's playing so well with him and alongside with De'Aaron Fox and the couple times they've played. But man, Dylan Harper up there, they aced that pick.
All right, now there's one spot left, Pooh. Where are you going to place Maxime Renaud?
Who? No.
You do have a skip.
Well, we're going to skip him. We're going to skip him.
All right, your next player is Ace Bailey.
Oh, man. I done exhausted my skip. I guess he going in 7. That's all that's left. He going in 7.
Ace Bailey right now at 7. Now, Troy, I know you've exhausted both your skip and your swap, but there's only one player that we have to get through, so I will allow you to make any change on this list that you want. As currently constructed, it is Con Knipple at 1, 2, Cooper Flag, 3, Derek Queen, 4, Dylan Harper, 5, Jeremiah Fears, 6, Cedric Coward, 7, Ace Bailey, 8, Ryan Nemhard, 9, VJ Edgecombe, and your final player is Will Riley.
I love Will Riley. I think that he has the potential to, be somewhere on this list in the future, but just based off of how the season has gone so far and his limited minutes early on those first, 15 to 20 games, I would not have him on this list. But I do think that, with the proper growth and development from the Wizards front office, and if he continues to keep growing at 6'10" and continue to show that he can handle the ball, I think that this guy might be a very sleeper prospect on this list.
All right. Well, there you have it, everyone. The official first ever NBA blind ranking rookie ladder of the Capitol Hoop Caucus.
I'm actually pretty proud of that list that we put together. It actually makes a lot of sense. But I want to give a shout out to Maxime Renaud, who had 29 points last night. Look, I'm surprised that he was drafted the 42nd pick right before Jameer Watkins, and he's also French, so I'm really surprised he's not a Wizard.
All right. Well, elsewhere in the association, the league just opened up the voting for the All-Star game. So what we'll quickly do here is we will get each of our hosts' opinions on who they think should be the All-Stars for each conference. We'll go each host by host, and they'll each pick their 5 players. Troy, we'll start first with you. Who would you view as the 5 first All-Stars out of the Eastern Conference?
All right, so I would go with the 5 All-Stars. Let's go Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Giannis, and let's go with Tyrese Maxey.
All right, Maxey, Mitchell, Brunson, Cunningham, and Giannis. Isaac, we'll move over to you for the East. Who do you view as the 5 first All-Stars for the Eastern Conference?
Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown. I'm going to be spicy. I'm going to give it to Alex Sarr. Hopefully we give him enough votes. I'm kidding.
Hey, look, man. I thought you was gonna say Deuce McBride.
No, he hasn't been playing. He already got one Nick in there. You only need one Nick.
You are wearing your West Virginia gear.
Yeah,
so.
we had to have the mandatory name drop. It has to, we got a quota. We got to hit.
No. It's cold outside. That's why I'm wearing it. It's cold outside. So,
Boo, who do you view as the Eastern All-Stars?
Wow. Okay, so I got Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson. We're going to make it a different type of spicy. Jalen Johnson from the Hawks.
Ooh, I like that.
He's on a heater right now.
What's that, 3? We'll go. The East don't have no big men, I swear.
For real.
Giannis and Donovan Mitchell.
All right, a very spicy full court press today.
I love the Jalen Johnson pick. Like, honestly, like he's going to be an All-Star this year. I don't know whether he's going to be a starter or a reserve, but I feel confident like that he's definitely going to make his first All-Star appearance.
Well deserved, and everyone here calling the shots. But Pooh, let's go in reverse order now. Who would you view as the 5 All-Stars out of the West?
Luka. We're gonna go with the alien, Wemby. That was insane. Some of that stuff he was doing last night. That was embarrassing. The Joker, of course, and Shea, Mr. Steady, and we're gonna go Denny Avdia. He's been balling.
All right, got Denby, former Wizard, squeezing in there. Isaac, who would you view as your Western All-Stars?
Shea, Luka, Jokic, Anthony Edwards, and then I'll give it to Wemby.
All right, not as confident on that one as you were with Sarr somehow, but that's
because I wanted. I'm thinking about somebody else, but I'll give it to Wemby.
all right. And Troy?
All right. The Shea, Luka, Jokic, that's like solidified. I'm going to go with, so after the 3, I'm going to go with Steph Curry. I think that if we're talking about all-star season, like he's having a great season. He's coming out here dropping 35 and 40 points. The Warriors aren't winning a lot of games, but he is playing like an all-star for sure. And then for that last spot, I'm gonna go Kevin Durant.
All right.
Yeah, I think that what he's done when you look at Houston with how good they are playing this season and him being the main addition to that team from the offseason, I think that he just provides a level of consistency that has made them a legitimate contender.
All right. Well, here you all have it there, folks. The all-star starters from both sides, and then also the blind power ranking of NBA rookies this year. If you disagreed with any of the selections that we made throughout this segment of this week's Full Court Press, then please let us know in the comment section below or by texting us at 833-377-6630. That is 833-377-6630. You can also open up the podcast description of this very episode. There's going to be a button there that says text the show. You can also click that. It'll automatically open up your Messenger app. Or you can also hit us up directly on X or Instagram. Where, Isaac?
At Cap Hoop Caucus on X, and then Cap Hoop Caucus on Instagram and TikTok.
All right, let's take another break here. The next time you hear us, it will be time for trivia time from the line. You listen to the Cap Hoop Caucus on ESPN 630 and the ESPN 630 app. Welcome back into the Capitol Hoop Caucus. I'm Wardell McCabe, and I'm joined, as always, by Isaac Harris and Troy Halliburton. Very special thanks to Big Pooh of Little Brother for kicking it with us today. as we have recapped the most recent Wizards game, a loss to the San Antonio Spurs, which then kicked off a larger conversation about the now minutes allocation to Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly and their general development now that they have come back from injury. And that also transitioned into a conversation about Bub Carrington. He's had a pretty solid 4-game stretch here. So we talked about what it is that could mean for his immediate future and how it is that the fan base may have been a little quick to jump to conclusions at the start of this season, and why it is that we all need to practice a little bit more patience in this current iteration of the Washington Wizards. And then from there, we came back and we built out a blind ranking of the NBA rookies in the full court press. That was a little bit fun. We all went round robin style, assembling that collective list. And then we got everyone's all-star starters from both conferences as well on this point of the show. But well, if you missed anything that we mentioned there, then don't worry, because you can always catch it on the podcast. If you're just catching us live on the radio, be sure to check us out everywhere it is that you get your podcasts. And Troy, when they find us, what should they do?
You got to like and subscribe and rate us 5 stars, please.
Absolutely. 5-star rate and review, please, if you can. Now, Isaac, I have a question for you, too. What time is it?
Christmas time, actually, if you think about it, or the holiday season.
It is holidays,
Yeah.
but what time is it right now, though? Like right now.
Trivia time.
It is absolutely trivia time, which means I have to make my way out the door to make space for our next host. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trivia Time from the Line. I'm your host, Guy. Now, you all know the name of the game, but let's get to the aim of the game, which is this: to score more points than your opponent. We'll have 5 minutes on the clock, during which our contestants will have to correctly guess as many names as possible in a surprise category of our choosing. Let's go around the table and meet all of our contestants. First up is Troy. How you doing today?
I'm feeling amazing. Trying to be a winner.
Wonderful. Love to hear that. And Isaac.
How am I? I'm doing all right.
All right.
Doing all right.
And Pooh.
Never was a jock, but I'm ready to rock.
Oh, wonderful. Now, you may be wondering, why was it Isaac didn't bring a lot of energy? Well, there is a correction we have to make from last week's show. As you know, Isaac won last week, but there was actually a duplicate answer given. So we have to actually redact the end score of 5-4-3. It is actually a score from last week of 4-4-3, which meant it was a tie between Isaac and Troy, meaning the streak continues for Troy. But will it continue this week? We will have to wait and find out, because this week, what you'll be guessing is in direct correlation to Cooper Flagg, because earlier this week, he became the youngest player in NBA history to score their first 40-point game. So today, what you will be doing is guessing the other youngest players in NBA history to score their first 40-point games. When it's your turn, please provide the point total they scored in that first game of theirs, the position they played, the team they played for, and the date and opponent that they scored 40 points for the first time in their career. Are you all ready?
Yep.
Definitely.
Well, let's begin first with Pooh.
Oh man, well, I'm gonna take the easy one. I see it on here. 42 points. Cooper Flagg, forward, Mavericks.
It is Cooper Flagg. Troy.
I'm going to take another easy one I see on here. Let's go that 55 points guard, Bucks. Let's go with Brandon Jennings.
It is Brandon Jennings. Isaac.
40 points, center, Spurs, March 29th, 2024 versus the Knicks, Wemby.
It is Wembanyama. Pooh.
Ooh, this is a tough one. Okay. I think 41 points forward. Nope, we don't want that one. 43 points forward, Grizzlies. Is that Jaren Jackson?
It is Triple J. Troy.
Okay, let's go. 41 points for Cavaliers. Let's go. LeBron James.
It is the King. Isaac.
41 points forward for the Nuggets, March 30th, 2004 versus Supersonics, Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony. Pooh.
42 points forward, Supersonics versus the Warriors. Is that Kevin Durant?
It is KD. Troy.
Okay. Let's go. 40 points. Spurs center versus the Knicks. That's Wemby?
Already guessed. Let's move on to Isaac.
42 points guard for the Timberwolves, March 18th, 2021 versus Suns, Anthony Edwards.
And man, it is Pooh.
41 points. Did we do this one? 41 points forward, Cavaliers versus the Nets.
Already guessed.
I didn't do
Moving
that.
on to
Okay.
Troy.
All right.
Ah,
Let's go. 41-point guard for the Rockets. That is Jalen Green.
It is Jalen Green. Isaac.
I'm going to try it, but I'm thinking I'm going to be way off. 47 points for the guard, Knicks, December 6th, 1947 versus the Steamrollers. Is this Sweetwater?
No, it is
No,
not.
Take a guess. I wanted to guess it.
that was a good try. Sheesh. Let's see. Man, I don't know who played for some of these teams back in these old years. Man, I'm stumped. I gotta skip. I'm stumped.
And moving on to Troy.
All right, let's go. 41 points guard Clippers. Let's go with Eric Gordon.
It is Eric Gordon. Isaac.
45 points, power forward / center for the Nets, March 9th, 1980 versus the Pistons. Dr. J?
No. Pooh.
Oh man, shoot, it's tough, man. You got some hard ones on here. 44 points forward Grizzlies against the Nuggets in 2024. What? That forward Grizzlies. It's not Jaren. Skip me again, man. I don't know who that is.
Troy.
Who that is.
Damn. Wait, did we do 42 points forward Supersonics?
Already done. Moving on to Isaac.
43 points forward, Grizzlies, December 13th versus the Bucks. Has that already been guessed?
Yes, already been
Sorry, I'm
guessed.
moving to this one then. So
Nope, it's Pooh's turn.
Nope,
Pooh.
turn. All right.
Okay. Can I come back to the 44 points Grizzlies versus the Nuggets in 2024? Would that be Santi Aldama?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Troy.
April of 2024. 44 points Grizzlies, April 2024. That's not Jalen Wells, is it?
No, it is not. Isaac.
I'm gonna be bold with that one. So 44 points, Grizzlies, April 14th, 2024. Ooh, actually,
I'm
I'm stumped on that one.
very curious.
Yeah, I'm curious. I forgot.
Last guess?
Luke Kennard.
No.
Luke Kennard.
2024?
At this point.
Let's go through the remaining unanswered questions before revealing this week's score at 44 points forward for the Grizzlies, April 14, 2024 versus the Nuggets, G.G. Jackson. Next up, 45 points, power forward center for the Nets, March 9th, 1980 versus the Pistons, Cliff Robinson. 41 points, power forward for the Atlanta Hawks, or October 22nd, 1974 versus the 76ers, John Drew. And finally, 47 points guard, New York Knicks, December 6, 1947 versus the Providence Steamrollers, Carl Braun. Let's go ahead and tally these results so we can answer who this week's winner is. With a score of 3-3-4. Your winner this week, once again, back on the top of the mountain, Troy. That does it for us here at Trivia Time of the Line. We'll talk to you all next time. Bye. All right, guys. How did trivia go this week?
I could have done a better performance. Shout out to G.G. Jackson though. Does he still play for the Grizzlies?
I think so.
Oh my goodness!
He does. He actually does.
No, that's crazy. And you know something else I noticed about this? Like, there's a lot of people with these late March, April games.
I know a lot of it's March, April.
They getting busy on that garbage time.
All right, we're just about done with the show, but as everyone knows, we cannot do so without first taking our last shots, which is when each of us has 24 seconds uninterrupted to speak on anything basketball related beyond the limits of the DMV. Be a shout out, hot take, personal gripe, whatever it is now is the time to let it fly. The only rule is that when your 24 seconds is up, your microphone will shut off. Troy, are you ready to take your last shot?
Yes, I am. My last shot, shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves for doing the right thing and bringing back the big ticket Kevin Garnett into the organizational fold under new ownership. Mark Lurie and Alex Rodriguez, they said that Kevin Garnett is going to be a team ambassador and that number 21 jersey is going up in the Raptors. Very well deserved.
Absolutely, definitely is, without a doubt, well deserved. Isaac, are you ready to take your last shot?
Yeah, I'm ready. This, my last shot, is more of like a warning shot to Joe Klatt. You made an impermissible take on March Madness. I can't let it slide. I know you forgave everybody, but it was straight crap. Please do never comment on college basketball ever again. College football, impermissibly ruined college athletics as a whole. So, no. For anyone that supports that, go away.
Or else what?
Go away. Just disappear. Something. Okay. Kick rocks. Something.
Kick rocks
disappear.
is a good one.
As a matter of fact, I hope Joel Klatt hears this.
For this
Trust me.
specific reason. All right, Pooh, do you want to take a last shot?
Sure. I'm ready. I'm going. Okay, here we go. So, Cat Williams had a joke about a Bentley and the Chrysler 300, and that joke was realized last night. While I love Alex Sarr, I love what he's becoming, I love what he's going to end up being for the Wizards, he was the Chrysler 300 to Wemby's Bentley last night.
Oh man!
Damn.
Poetic.
Damn, man. Hey, Big Pooh, man. Why Alex Sarr had the kit on? He had the car kit.
When you watching the game.
And
he was looking great, and then Wemby checked in, and it was like, oh man.
Yeah, he like, damn, those aren't rims. That's a hubcap.
He was on Nerf rims. It was like he was on Nerf rims last night.
Hey, you know what, man? Like there's definitely levels to this, and I see Wemby's name was on this list. I did not see Alex Sarr on this.
I don't have one to follow that up, so I'm gonna just ask Pooh, for our listeners at home, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on X, Twitter, whatever you call it, and you can follow me on Instagram, rapper Big Pooh, all spelled correctly, and that's it. I'm not on the Book of Faces. I'm not on TokTik. I'm not on any of that other stuff. Instagram and X. Holla at me.
All right, Troy, where can our listeners get more of your work?
You can always find me on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now X at Troy Halliburton, and check all my writings and musings on my Substack, Capital Hoop Caucus.
And Isaac?
You can always find me on X at Ike Irie 224, and then you can always find me on Instagram at Isaac_Ajikum Harris 224.
And where can they get more content from the show?
On X at Cap Hoop Caucus, and on Instagram and TikTok at Capital Hoop Caucus, and also our YouTube at Capital Hoop Caucus.
All right. Well, signing off for Isaac Ajikum Harris, Troy Halliburton, myself, Wardell McCabe, and our very special guest today, Big Pooh. This has been another episode of the Capital Hoop Caucus, reminding you that you all very seriously need to get your flu shots before meeting up with your family. Please do not get your grandma sick. Be kind to one another. We'll talk to you all at the same time next week.